When was the last time you made a paper airplane? It's a serious question. It's been absolutely ages for me, and I actually don't even know that I have paper sitting around here that'd be appropriate for a paper plane. I mean, who even uses paper for anything anymore? I remember when I figured it would always be important to own a printer and the associated paper, but I don't have one now myself, and it's been years since... I'm rambling a bit, and honestly I've probably just dated myself more than a bit. But hey, given the game we're talking about today, that's appropriate. Lifeslide from developer DreamTech is a mobile game available as a part of Apple Arcade. It's basically a Zen meditation game that'll definitely make you want to chuck your iPad through a window at some point. So, the game itself. Lifeslide is a variation on the classic mobile formula of a runner. You control a paper airplane flying across, and generally sort of down since you don't have an engine, a series of landscapes, avoiding obstacles and collecting pickups that you can use to continue your run and to upgrade your plane. When you crash, you can upgrade or swap out your plane and then restart at the last checkpoint you passed. The main thing that distinguishes Lifeslide from something like Temple Run is that the landscape you're traversing does change as you go, a bit like the biomes in Alto's Odyssey. DreamTech has tried to add a bit more depth of meaning to Lifeslide by associating these landscapes with the various stages of, well, life. You start out as an infant, sail through childhood and the teen years, and then 5 or 6 various subdivisions of adulthood, before you pass on, and you can start the whole experience over. Whether the devs believe in reincarnation is probably more than can be reasonably read into based solely on this game, but, well, it's a thing for paper airplanes in the lore of Lifeslide at least. The focus of that game is more on that progression and how it changes the world around you than it is on traditional runner mechanics like token pickups, outfits, or high scores. In that way too, it feels more like the premium Alto games than the Temple Run games, and anybody who's played both will understand what I mean when I describe the game as Zen. It does require skill and some effort or strategy, but it encourages a sort of zone. And once you drop into that zone, you're going to go for really lengthy stretches of gameplay without realizing that, well, you're playing. This game is for when you want to feel like you're thriving on just not having stress, and between the visuals and the fluidity of the gameplay, it's really pretty good at that. Most of the time. Because sometimes the changes in landscape also include abrupt changes in how you have to play the game, which will almost always involve you slamming into the ground a whole bunch of times in a row as you try to adjust. And then suddenly the fluidity is gone, and the soundtrack stops being relaxing background music and becomes simultaneously obnoxious and jeering, almost as if mocking your failures. And there is no in-between here. Either you're relaxed and satisfied, or you're regretting ever installing the stupid game in the first place. Either the game is fully on point and you're cruising down a mountain, sliding through tunnels and over ledges like a monk who's been studying the art of paper plane video games for 100 years, or you're picking up a controller for the first time ever and you're trying your hardest to figure out where to even put your thumbs. A lot of this comes down to something that can be kind of a huge failing in the world of mobile gaming: hardware. On my iPhone XR, the game runs very smoothly, but I frequently fail simply because the screen is tiny. On my Apple TV 4, the game obviously has a huge screen and looks gorgeous, but if I'm moving too quickly, the thing struggles to render in the environment quickly enough. The best hardware experience I get is on my iPad Pro, but with a device that size, the inertial controls are kinda unwieldy, which means you'll almost certainly want to have an actual controller to play with. And even then, the game will still occasionally make me want to club a baby seal. This is the kind of thing that can be patched out, and since the game's release, it's already been patched a number of times, becoming a smoother experience each time. Personally, I'm also hoping for things like plane customization to also be patched into the game, to give it a bit more longevity as well. But in its current state, I can really only recommend Lifeslide if you're looking for a really satisfying way to relax for a while. Just bear in mind that every now and then the illusion will shatter and you'll discover that you don't, in fact, have any good paper in your house.